Alright Virgo, this month for you is about an increase of knowledge and looking at your self-esteem, looking at your values. So Virgo, we start the month out with a full moon in your sign, okay? So this full moon it's got a lot of Neptunian energy around it. It actually opposes Neptune. So there's very emotional energy here, there's very watery energy here. We might be feeling extra sensitive. So what I would say to you, Virgo, especially being an earth sign, stay grounded. And if you're creative, you know, use that energy, transmute that Neptunian, creative, otherworldly energy, ground it through something physical, whether it's writing or whatever you do creatively. I mean, it could be building a wall in your backyard, you know, it doesn't matter. Build it as beautifully as you can. But it's nice if we can channel this kind of energy, because what can happen with this energy is it can make us very sensitive, it can make us feel somewhat it's the energy of slight paranoia and victimhood. When it gets out of hand, it can leave us feeling somewhat defeated and just being easy to take advantage of and things like that. You know, Neptunian energy can be very funny in that sense. So if we can channel it, then I would certainly recommend around these days, if you're in any way creative, even if you're not creative, do things that ground you and channel that higher energy so that it reaches down to earth. The nice thing about this full moon though, okay, is that on some level you're going to have some sort of an understanding or culmination of sorts, okay? And it will be, I imagine, to do with how far you can go in life, how far you can, how big your dreams can be, how much are you able to succeed. It will be, I feel like, a deep inner revelation or understanding of that on a personal level, because this full moon also trines Saturn in your 5th house, okay? And Saturn, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, Saturn is getting you to take your passion seriously, take your hobbies seriously, take your it's changing the way you view having fun. It's changing the way it's changing your self-esteem and your belief in yourself. And instead of looking outside of yourself for accolades, it's teaching you to be your biggest fan and your biggest believer, you know. And so he's trining this full moon, and there's a grand earth trine going on. And this moon is also being trined by Pallas Athena in the 9th house. Now this asteroid is about success, it's about creative intelligence, right? So between your 9th, 5th and 1st, I feel like for some of you, you're going to feel this sense of, wow, I do believe in myself and I can make my dreams come true. And it doesn't matter what anyone else says. I don't need to look to anyone else. I have the vision, 9th house, I have the vision, I have the ability, you know, I have something unique to offer that is me. 5th house, you know, I have the creativity, I have the inspiration to do it. And so I like this start of the month for you. I think that there's a real boost here. It could be that something comes to you, that there's an opportunity that comes to you, because full moons tend to be about culminations of things. So if you were working on something last month, this could see it coming to good fruition now. It could be that somebody recognizes you from the work you've been doing and offers you something that just kind of puts the period at the end of the sentence, you know, the full stop at the end of the sentence, that makes you go, wow, I must have done a good job, you know, because they've offered me that off the back of it. So really nice energy, I really like it. Just try and stay as grounded as you can. Use any of that Neptunian energy for inspiration and to connect to your spirituality. Try not to get lost in any, this is one of those months where I just would not gossip, I would not talk about anyone. This is secrets coming out kind of energy. This is people just being a little bit emotionally all over the place, okay? So just be aware of that. The big news this month is we have 2 full moons, okay? So we've got another one at the end of the month, and we've got a retrograde we've got 2 retrogrades. Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd, and then Jupiter goes retrograde on the 8th in your 3rd house. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. So first of all, you know, we've had Mercury, the Sun and Venus, Neptune in your 7th house, which has been bringing the attention to your one-to-one relationships, okay? I feel like you've had there's been some understanding you've gained a bit more kind of wisdom about yourself through your one-to-one relationships, and you've been probably wanting to spend more time one-on-one with people than in huge groups. Okay, so like I was saying, then on the 6th, this goes, the Venus, forgive me, I don't know what's going on in my speech today. On the 6th, Mercury and Venus go into the 8th house, right, where it goes deep, and it's about shared resources, it's about tax, it's about rebirth, it's about death, it's about sex, it's about intimacy, it's about depth psychology. And we'll start to speak about that more later on. This is followed on the 8th by Jupiter retrograding in your 3rd house. Now, this can play out in a number of ways. He's going to be retrograde until the 10th of July, so for about 3-4 months, closer to 4 months. Now, Jupiter retrograde here, Jupiter retrograde, first of all, okay, he's an expansive planet. He's a planet that works by going outwards, right? Now he's turning his energy inwards, and it's about introspection, and it's about shifting your worldview, or shifting your view of yourself, shifting your perspectives, and tapping into some inner knowledge and deeper knowledge. On some level, you need to get a deeper understanding of something which is 3rd house related. This could see you asking, so what is 3rd house related, first of all? So 3rd house is communication, it's you know, emails, phone calls, telephone, I said that, phone calls, texts, that kind of thing. It's short distance travel. 3rd house is siblings. 3rd house is self-esteem. 3rd house is journalism and writing. 3rd house is technology and, like, well, not so much technology, sorry, automobiles, that kind of thing. Okay, so him going retrograde here can play out in a number of ways. It may be that for those of you who have had maybe damaged relations with siblings, it may be that these come up for review, and that you start looking at, how do I value my siblings? How do I value them, and what has our relationship been like? There's opportunity here for healing, because Jupiter is he's very gregarious in his nature. He's very forgiving. So there is opportunity here for healing between siblings if there has been friction or any fractures. Okay, so that's one way that can present itself. Another way it can present itself is if you are doing something, if there's something you want to do with your life, and you don't have all the necessary skills, or you haven't gone deep enough with your knowledge, now is a fantastic time to really deepen your knowledge, or to test yourself on just how much you do know, because Jupiter will be able to bring gifts, okay? And when he moves direct, if you work with this energy, you'll find that suddenly you're catapulted forward much faster than you could have been before. So this is a great time to deepen your knowledge. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you're studying, whatever it is that your business is, whoever, you know, whatever job it is you have, if you are passionate about it, you're happy in it, and you want to move up in it, deepen your level of knowledge, deepen your level of study, so that you can really say comfortably that you've mastered it. Use these 4 months to really go deep and gain that wisdom, and I think you'll find that it won't be that hard to learn. This will be a fantastic time for you for learning. I think it's going to come quite easily. I think you're going to be able to absorb it really well, and things should fall into place quite well in terms of, you know, in terms of your learning. Everything should just click, and you should kind of go, oh, okay, wow, all right, now I get it, I get how that fits with that, fits with that. If there's any area of your career, of your business, of what you want to do, that you don't feel comfortable in, or you feel like, oh, I know about it, but I wouldn't feel confident enough to speak about it just offhand, then deepen that. I can tell you personally, I'm going to be using this time to really, really go deep, even deeper with my astrology. Because, I mean, astrology to me is just, it's incredible, and it's so broad. There's so many angles you can come at it from. I'm going to be using this time to deepen my understanding of astrology. So, you know, I hope for you guys, you can work with this too. Another way that this can play out, and actually this will probably apply to everybody to a certain extent, is, you know, 3rd house is also about, it's about communication, it's about the way we think, it's about decisions, okay? So I want you to think about, how do my beliefs, you know, do I live by my beliefs? So it's one thing to say I believe this, but do I actually follow it up with action? Do I actually follow it up with the decisions I make, okay? Because Gemini is very much about decisions. So it's about, like, am I actually living by my values? Am I living by my beliefs? Do I say I'm not going to do this, but then when somebody asks me or puts pressure on me, I end up doing it? It's about firming that up so that you have more confidence in yourself, have better self-esteem. This, after all, is one of the houses that rules self-esteem to a certain extent, and courage, more so courage, okay? So that you have more courage, you have the courage and the strength of your convictions. So you want to be looking at whether your actions, your thoughts and your beliefs are all lined up. When those three are lined up, when our action, thoughts and beliefs are lined up, we can be incredibly powerful in the world, okay? So I'd really like you to think about that, look into that, maybe read some Tony Robbins, great motivational speaker for those kinds of things. So how else can we see this play out? This could also see you looking at the community that you belong to, the community that you're in. This could see you perhaps wanting to get deeper involved in the community in certain ways. It could also see you just looking at the relationship you have with your local community, how you interact with them. Do you interact with them when you see the people at the shop? Do you interact with them in the pub? Do you interact with them by volunteering? You know, is that something that is in line with who you believe yourself to be and how you want to show up in the world? So these are all different possibilities. Anyone who is writing, anyone who's in journalism, anyone who's in PR, anyone who works in the automotive industry, is an opportunity now to deepen your knowledge, to really master your skill set, okay? So I really like this energy. I think there's a lot of growth to be had there. On the 17th, we have the new moon happening. We have that new moon happening in your 7th house. What I will say, actually, before we get on to that, is... Sorry, I had to check the time because I have to go in about half an hour. What I will say is that Jupiter's making some lovely trines at the beginning of the month, in the early part of the month, to your 7th house. And this is telling me that there may be opportunities for deeper understanding, deeper learning in whatever area it is that you're focused on through people who come back into your life, people from the past. It could be ex-business partners, friends, lovers, but there could well be people from the past coming into your life who, even if it's just one conversation, give you a sense of like revelation about yourself, you know, because sometimes we don't always see ourselves completely clearly, and they could I don't know, text you or message you and you're having a conversation, they might say, do you know what, I've always thought that you were really good at that, you know, you had a natural gift there, and you kind of go, oh, I didn't know that people saw that in me. So I see some nice blessings and opportunities, and maybe not so much opportunities, but blessings and nice encounters and experiences happening between you and other people. And it could be people to do with the past, or it could be your audience as well, if you present in any way, present anything to anyone, okay? So then on the 17th, we have that new moon entering Pisces. Now, this is, with this new moon, I really like it for a fresh start in terms of how we view relationships for you, Virgo, okay? So there's been a bit of focus there. I think some of you have been reminiscing about past loves, about past hurts. You know, for those of you who are in a relationship, perhaps you've been working through some things. There's now fresh energy that comes in here, and I feel like this is going to be clearing some of the way. And this is a good time to think about, who do I want to link up with? Who do I want to align myself with? Whether it's romantically, whether it's career-wise, whether it's friendship-wise, what kind of people do I want to align myself with? On the 17th, also, Mars enters Capricorn, so it goes into that 5th house, where Saturn and Pluto are, bringing extra energy, all right? This is now becoming a bit of a powerhouse. We've got Pluto and Mars there. They're both two big storehouses of energy, and they're in your 5th house. You're going to be putting a lot of dynamic energy into your creative activities, into your hobbies, any business you own, anything you think you could do, to any ventures. I see you putting a lot of energy in there. Children, I see you putting a lot of energy into your children. I don't see this playing out so much in terms of romance and love. Yes, this 5th house, it does rule love and romance, but Saturn is here, and I feel like at the moment you're feeling very driven to, I feel like you're feeling very driven to get the most out of yourself. And if there are opportunities for love, I feel like there could be an intense attraction, but you'll take it slowly. You will be cautious about it and you won't rush into it. But there could be that a powerful attraction does arise. But I see you wanting to take your time. I see you wanting to know a lot about this person before anything goes deeper or before anything happens. certainly on a physical level. On the 20th is when the sun then goes into your 8th house, so the focus now becomes, like I said earlier, on matters of shared resources, tax, inheritances, other people's money, psychology, going deep with things, okay? So I like this because Jupiter is retrograding in your 3rd house, where he wants you to go deep with your knowledge, deep with your learning, deep with your skills, right? And now the energy of the personal planets is shifting into the 8th house, where it's about going deep. So if you want to start learning something, my God, Virgo, now is the time to do it, because you will be absorbing the hell out of it, okay? But this can see gains, financial gains happening through other people, through other people's money. It might see you having to handle joint finances and having to look at and work over taxes, because Mercury will go retrograde on the 23rd, so it could see you having to look over your taxes, look over your finances, look over shared resources, those kinds of things. So just be mindful of that, but it's a good time to review anything related to tax, shared income, that kind of thing, just to make sure you've got everything in place and got everything right. But this will also see you more interested in deeper subjects, not so light-hearted, wanting to get to the bottom of things, wanting to discuss things that are meaningful and perhaps even esoteric. And like I said, if you do meet someone at this point, it could be a very powerful attraction that is felt very deeply, but you'll want to really, really know them before anything is really committed. So it will be a case of taking your time to really understand this person on a very deep level. Okay, we have a full moon then on the 31st, and this is in your 2nd house of income, of earned income, values, resources. So this could see a growth. This could see you know, you could end up seeing like some sort of a growth in your income as a result of the hard work that you've been putting in, especially for those of you who are self-employed or self-starters. This could bring things to combinations this can bring things to combination. I think I'm feeling Mercury retrograde already. This can bring things to a combination in terms of your resources, your finances, how you handle them, okay? Because we've got that 8th house activity happening there. So this can see, maybe you finally got your taxes done. Maybe you've finally figured out a way to, an agreement with your ex about how to settle your shared property, that kind of thing. It can see a culmination here, okay? The only thing I will say is there's a bit of tension around this full moon because it's opposing Mercury, which is retrograde in that 8th house, okay? So it's opposing Mercury and it's squaring Saturn, so just be mindful of that. There may be a little bit of tension. There could be misunderstandings due to poor communication. Try and be as clear as you can. I'd really recommend this month for being very clear, direct, diplomatic, but standing up for yourself, okay? And also, of course, with that full moon at the beginning of the month, great time to detox, great time to declutter, great time to just, you know, I know a lot of us have been working on cleansing, clearing, and decluttering with all these full moon eclipses and solar eclipses and all this. We've all been working on this. This is a great time to kind of, if you've been detoxing, if you've been exercising, this is a great time to really be like, to really super commit to that plan and to say, yes, this is no longer just a plan, this is my life, my way of life now. I live a healthy lifestyle. I live a more empowered lifestyle. I hope you enjoyed that, Virgo. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like. And now onto your tarot readings for March. Another thing that I wanted to add in as well, Virgo, and this was a bit of an afterthought which I'd missed when I was talking about this full moon, was that this full moon can also see you coming to a far deeper and bigger understanding of yourself in terms of your emotional habits when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dating. And this could be triggered by some form of disappointment. Okay, so it could be that towards the end of February, something happened. There was some sort of feeling of disappointment in love or loss or rejection, or maybe even feeling slightly victimized. And you work through this. I see you working through this using that analytical mind and looking at, and basically having a bit of a revelation moment, okay? So full moons are about culminations, and they can bring things to a head. And I feel like you get for some of you, this will play out as you getting a bigger emotional understanding of what you've been doing to attract the experiences that you've had. And it's almost like you go, aha, right, okay, so I was setting up the energy for this by, you know, maybe wanting to date people but yet at the same time being non-committal, and that's why I keep finding people who won't commit and reflect that back to me, or whatever it might be. But I feel like there's going to be some sort of feeling of, at first, disappointment that then will lead to an aha moment, and it will really clear up some things for you, and it sees you having a much bigger understanding of yourself, and actually being able to move forward, thanking whatever situation it was, thanking that person, thanking your lover, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, for how they've highlighted this within you. So there's something here where you might well be learning through relating, learning through a shared experience with another person. I see it playing out in the area of romance because, like I said, this touches on your 5th house and your 7th house. So I see it playing out in the area of romance, and I see you getting a bigger understanding of who you are, and with that understanding being able to move forward with a clearer sense of identity, and being able to say, okay, well, if this is the energy I've been putting out, if this is what I've been doing, then what is it I truly want? Let me get real about this, and let me make sure that I'm on board with me, because split energy is the worst. You know, we can think we want something, but yet at the same time we hold a belief against it, or at the same time we hold an opposing desire. So when we start to bring those things, when we look at those things, we bring them into tune, and we go, okay, well, on one hand I'm doing and saying and thinking this, and then on the other hand I'm doing and saying and thinking this, and that's why I'm getting these mixed results. It's about cohesion, bringing them into a place of centeredness, and then being able to move forward. So I see for some of you this full moon playing out very much in that way. Ultimately, Virgo, this full moon will be giving you a more real, more mature and stable understanding of yourself as a result of relationships, as a result of romance, as a result of the interactions you have with people on that level.